Hi folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Satisfactory. This is a game that you can find on the Steam and Epic stores for about $30. It is early access, so everything that you're about to see here is most definitely subject to change. This is a game that I've owned for the last several years when it first released onto Epic, and I come back to it every now and again. And because the game is constantly updating, well, maybe not as often as I'd like, but because it is still constantly updating, I typically end up starting over from scratch. I have several hours. If I had to guesstimate, I'd say about 50 hours plus on this. And I'm a casual kind of gamer, so just quick heads up about that, just so you know where my mindset is. I am not a hardcore, have to maximize, calculate, and all that other stuff. I like to just come into these things, have fun. Yes, my factories typically aren't 100% efficient because I didn't math it out correctly. You should see my Factorio stuff. On that note, this is a first-person Factorio-esque game. It is grandiose in scale, very beautiful to look at. Factorio is more of like a top-down factory builder with conveyor belts and machines, but it's not the prettiest game out there. But it's very technical and as hardcore as you kind of want it, with some base defense elements with the aliens that will attack your base. Satisfactory is less about base defense and more about first-person factory building. You're still going to have to build conveyor belts and various machines, but all of that is done in first person, and it looks beautiful. Even on the lower graphic settings, I'll sometimes just sort of look around and appreciate, oh, there's a waterfall over there, let's just stare at that for a while. I recently entered some kind of biome that had all these purple and pink trees or whatever. It was just really nice to look at. Yeah, there was radiation everywhere, and I had to watch where I was because I could die, but still. This isn't a true survival game in the sense that there's no hunger, there's no thirst, you don't have to sleep, there's none of that. There is a health meter, and some things in the environment will kill you. If you get too close to radiation, or poison gas, or if you piss off the local animals, they will kill you. But in the options menu, you can set them to either passive or retaliate if you want to, so that, they won't attack you. So it's more or less, if you put it on just passive, it's a peaceful mode. So there's no, you don't have to build turrets, you don't have to build walls like in Factorio. This is more of an open-ended, run your own factory kind of thing. And it's very satisfying, if not overwhelming. Again, I'm one of those casual gamers that don't like to math things out all the time, but there is a certain satisfaction that you get from starting from scratch. Okay, it's an empty field. You start in one of 4 chosen locations. You choose where you want to start. Certain locations are easier, but there's a certain sense of satisfaction in starting off with nothing, and creating a little foundation here, putting a little crafting table over there. Oh, there's a conveyor belt. Oh, there's a mine area. So let's just put this little mine up here, and oh, look, there's ore coming out. Oh, look, now I'm gonna smelt it in this smelter. I've got some iron plates. That's great. And then over several hours, you'll be creating these little mini warehouses, then you don't even realize that you're doing it. And as you continue playing, you'll come up with even better ideas. Yes, you can color code things as you see fit, which is kind of nice. So if you want your base to look purple or blue, you can color code things. And I have to say, though, the act of doing anything in this game is more intimidating to me, because again, it's all done in first person. With Factorio, I can plop factory, done, real quick. I can just plop stuff down real quick. With this game, everything takes a bit longer because I'm looking at it from a first person perspective. Just the act of sort of putting wood and leaves into a constructor, which turns it into biomass. And then that gets refined into this enhanced version of it. And then I put that into power plants that will burn biomass or whatever the case is, or biofuel. And just the act of putting all of that together takes me 10 times longer because I have to worry about terrain heights and getting around this rock, which I can't remove. There's no terrain editing tools as far as I know, so you're constantly having to just sort of move around the environment. But there is, like, again, a sort of satisfaction in just sort of standing at the mouth of a container or a constructor and watching these things pop out because you put that together. You're the one, you put all of these biomass power plants down. You've connected them via wires. And look, they're grinding up leaves and biomass and biofuel. You can actually physically see them, the machines working. There's just that really satisfying feeling that you're slowly putting everything together. If I had one quick tip for you, I'm not an expert, but if you can, rush coal, because biomass, these things only take you so far. You'll need a crap ton of biofuel to support 8+ of these biomass these biomass power plants. These are the first power plants you get. You're pretty much burning leaves or wood or biomass or biofuel, and different forms of that are more efficient than others. So leaves are the worst, then wood, then biomass, then biofuel, then so on, so on, so on. There is storage in this game. You can craft storage containers, just like little crates, and you can put them down and you can throw stuff in there if you want to. Again, you can craft the larger containers, which then allow conveyor belts to run into them, and you can just store stuff there if you want to. But typically I have a few of these smaller storage containers nearby, because sometimes I get this spare ore that I don't know why I have it. I was deleting something and then I just happened to collect all of the stuff that was on the conveyor belt automatically. So now I've got all this ore in my inventory. I'm like, well, I don't want to run back right now. So anyway, what are you doing in this game? Why are you building all of these things? Well, there's a progression system, as you would expect. You start off with a couple of recipes and you expand from there. There's two main ways you do it. There's a little research table in your base, and just by inputting resources into it, you unlock new tiers. I think it's like tier 1 through tier 7 at the moment, tier 1 through tier 8, something like that. Eventually you build this large, gigantic space elevator, and then you start feeding resources into it. And then when you're ready, you'll sort of launch these resources into orbit, and you'll unlock more tiers, and that's the progression. There's also this MAM, molecular analysis machine, I think it is. It is the other way to unlock blueprints in this game. So if I find sulfur in the environment, I've never seen it before, it'll say, oh, new research available in the MAM, whatever. So now I could bring the little bit of sulfur that I found to this MAM, and after a while, just start throwing sulfur at it, and it'll generate new blueprints for me. So it's just like, so between the space elevator and the research table in your base, and then this MAM, you'll unlock new recipes. You'll even find hard drives in the environment. They're like, think Subnautica. They're sort of like little things that like little machines that you find, and you spend resources to unlock them, and then you bring the hard drive back and you scan it. It takes like 10 minutes, and then you get alternate recipes, which is kind of cool. I love the map in this game. You can freely place map markers. You can even name them. The map does not generate these things for you automatically. So if you find an ore deposit, you have to come to your map and physically fill it out. Okay? So I wish it did it automatically for me, but because sometimes I forget. I get lazy and I forget to fill it. But you can create map markers, and I have like a white check mark system. Every time I find a hard drive in the environment, I plop a little white check mark there so that everyone knows that I'm doing it. You'll also be finding like other hidden stuff in the environment. There are these like really weird glowing artifacts. I'm not sure what they are. They're a work in progress. So I don't think they're fully implemented in, but you can find them and do things, and just sort of collect them. And I guess later on we'll find out what they're all about. Why do these alien artifacts exist on these planets? I don't know. You get this creepy alien robotic woman talking to you all the time every time you're near one. It's really creepy. But using a power scanner that you can build, you can also find these things called power slugs. And these power slugs are sort of like hidden around the environment, typically through platforming. And I say platforming very loosely because there's no physics in this game, so you can just build platforms everywhere. But anyway, these power slugs allow you to overclock. You craft the power slugs into like an overclock module. You throw them into your factories and they work more efficiently. So there is a reason to hunt these guys out in case you don't want to build 3 or 4 factories for one thing. A couple of overclock modules in one factory will make it produce a lot more efficiently. Like I said, you can just as easily get around the environment by building platforms. There are no physics in this game. So like, you don't have, there's no need to support stuff. In the beginning of the video, you were kind of watching me run across this large pathway in the air. Yeah, you could just do that. I find that 10 times more efficient than trying to get around the environment. Just create a huge monorail of sorts. And off you go. Eventually, you'll get access to these fast travel tubes that we're just now getting into in our Tier 4 research. You just pretty much go into it and it's a fast travel tube. Think like Star Trek, the turbo lifts, but it's a physical, you physically go into it and you sort of shoot out the other side. It's kind of cool anyway. But yeah, you'll be finding hard drives in the environment. You'll have to scan, you get your hand scanner. You'll be able to unlock new things to find, berries and nuts. You follow the little scanner to your destination. So it's as you unlock more scanner things, you'll find more things in the environment. And like I said, this game is overwhelming. It's overwhelming to me. As much satisfaction as I get from playing Satisfactory, that was kind of weird, but as much satisfaction as I get playing this game, I still find it more overwhelming than Factorio. At least in Factorio, I can get a bird's eye view of everything I've done. In this game, I feel like I'm constantly running around with like a chicken with its head cut off. Because, like, I feel like, oh, is this okay over here? This power, is this still running? Is this factory still efficient? I got to run over there and find out. And it's just like, I've reached a point where, yeah, I've built stuff. I've got all this stuff flowing into one central location. But now, like, I'm into higher tier stuff. And now I need to use this advanced stuff to create even more advanced stuff. It's like A leads to B, leads to C, leads to D, leads to E, leads to F. And I need this to get to C and then this to get to D. I'm at the point now where my mind is starting to just, I'm shutting down and I want to come back to it at some other time. Luckily, you will get tools later on to help you sort of streamline. You get a chainsaw, for example. You can cut down trees, clear the way. Wood is great for early biofuel. But you'll also come across weird creatures that are like, oh, what's that? That's a cool looking thing. Oh, wait, now it's spewing this poisonous gas at me. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Yeah, you start the game with this little prod, this electric prod, but it doesn't do a whole lot against creatures like that. But yeah, this game is fantastic. You can get so much playtime out of this. Again, I have 50 plus hours and the game is only $30. I got a press key a long time ago for it. But still, like, I've spent so much time playing this game that it's unreal. There's even this awesome shop, and I say awesome, it's actually in game I think it's awesome shop. And what you do is you feed this machine unwanted resources or overstock stuff, and it turns it into tickets. You get these tickets, and then you spend the tickets at like a separate vendor, like a vending machine. So you can get resources and materials that way, although quite inefficiently. It doesn't get you very far. So, I mean, do I recommend Satisfactorio? It might as well be Satisfactorio. Do I recommend this game? Yes, I do. The amount of playtime that you'll get from this game is going to be just so much. Like, compared to the price tag, you're going to get so much playtime out of this. It's ridiculous. And even though I've played for only 50 some hours plus, I'm only on tier 4. I have not reached the end game yet. I'm still very intimidated by where I'm at right now. And I can be as casual or as hardcore as I want to be when I feel like it. I can just let the game run. There's no time pressure. So if I just want to sit and explore for a while and let resources build up, I can totally do that. So I like the freedom that this game gives me. I wish there was a base defense element to it, but Maybe an optional one so that I don't piss off anyone that doesn't want that kind of thing. But yeah, Satisfactory. Totally recommend this game. You can play multiplayer if you like, private servers with friends, all that good stuff. Well, this is Vince. Thanks for watching. I will catch you all next time. Take care.